Hey guys, it's Eric Stolpe here, aka Brain in a Jar. I just thought I'd share something with you that's been working its way through my head for the past month or so. New Year's resolution has not really historically ever been my thing, but it might be a valid comparison here. So I've always considered myself a creative person. If you ask me to tell you who I am, musician's probably coming up in the first few words. As a music teacher, I'm well aware that musicians come in all different shapes and sizes, and not all of them are songwriters or composers, but I feel like I've always had a creative itch to scratch, and I feel like I've taken a lot of pride in the work that I've been a part of creating. Here's the problem. I wrote more songs as a teenager than I've written as an adult, if you could call me that. I'm not saying anything I've written has been a masterpiece. I do feel like I left my creative footprint on the Raven Charter and on some of the other things I've been involved with over the years. But I do think that the volume of things that I've created and seen to conclusion is out of alignment with the creator that I want to be. A lot of things have contributed to this. I've had focus and attention issues, imposter syndrome, alcohol, mental health, but at the end of the day, I'm not getting any younger, and if I'm going to identify as a creator, I should probably start creating. A few months ago, I sat down with my friend Anthony Sosa for the As an Artist podcast. And that conversation and the reflection leading up to it and since has really gotten me thinking. So I started to recap the last decade, but it made this already super long announcement even longer, so I'll try to spare you. Basically, I've come to two main realizations, and I'm going to try to take some action related to those realizations. So the first one is that I took my local scene in Texas for granted, and I really want to do more to support local and independent music, however that makes sense. For a decent chunk of the time that we were an active band, the Raven Charter was a part of the amazing Do For It Records community. More recently, I've had a background role in getting local famous records going with Sosa and with a handful of our other friends and people in the DFW music scene. But I definitely feel like I've always given less to my local scene than it's given me. I'd like to start making some connections up here in Milwaukee. Admittedly, as an extreme introvert, I'm not sure how to go about this with the amount of bandwidth I'm usually working with. It's going to be a goal for the coming year, but in the meantime, I'm going to try to support the DFW scene from afar and do some other things to hopefully elevate independent music in general. So the second thing is that the present is the best time to be creative. No more excuses. Okay, there's probably going to be some excuses, but I'm going to try to take some action going forward. So here's the plan. Beginning January 1st, I'm embarking on a new project. It's actually already in motion, but January 1st is when I'll begin sharing this project. From the beginning, I've always intended Brain in a Jar to be a snapshot of my messy thoughts. So I've decided to pursue that vision to a truly self-fulfilling end. The new project under the Brain in a Jar umbrella will be a music journal. I've mulled over a variety of parameters for this project. I considered making daily releases a hard requirement. I considered making the releases last for a full year with a few different options for organizing the releases. When it comes down to it, though, I don't want to box myself into something that I'll have to abandon if I can't meet the expectations I set. So all I can really say at this point is I would like to be ready to put an idea out every day, but I'm not making that a promise or a guarantee for this experiment. So here's what it is. Rather than full, fleshed out, conceptually cohesive songs, Day in a Brain is going to include ideas in a singular format. They might be 30 seconds each, maybe a few minutes. Most are probably going to be a single chord progression or motif or idea or beat, something like that. Some are probably going to have lyrics. A lot of them probably won't. Many are going to have pretty rough, minimal editing or mixing. You might even get some that are straight from a voice memo from the phone. We'll see what happens. The point is to get the thoughts out there and stop living in the limbo between perfectionist ambition and ADHD reality. The first few entries in the journal are already in progress. I don't plan to keep the creation of ideas to a single day. Also, don't want to work too far ahead. Just whatever natural pace I can keep and still get things into the distribution machine at the appropriate time. So thanks for joining me for this experiment. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for Day in a Brain. I'm shooting to get started with Volume 1, Page 1 on January 1st. As for the other thing, if you're an independent artist or have music recommendations, I want to hear them. Even if you think I've heard it, even if you know I've heard it, even if we've played shows together in the past, send it to me anyway. I've been prioritizing my local indie playlist since switching to Tidal. At over 100 hours, I know that playlist is still missing plenty. So anyway, thanks guys. Have a great holiday season and a happy new year. That's about it.